Let's get on the ball. Okay, first thing. We have attendance, Tom?
Sure. Yeah, all set.
Okay, should we go with, we got the OT here tonight or no?
Yes.
We do? So, well, what am I gonna call it? Anybody have, why don't we have them go now?
Sure,
So
under
your
public comment. Sure.
public comment, I'm
All right.
sorry. Want to do public comment, let them go first?
Sure.
Okay. Who's gonna be doing this?
Yeah, is there anyone here to speak publicly? Please raise your hand electronically now and I will unmute you. We have 4 people from the public, but no one's raising their hand, Chairman.
Oh. Well, maybe DOT isn't here.
Oh, they're all
Yeah,
here.
they're here.
Oh,
Mr. Samaragic is in public. I don't know if he has an issue getting in.
Yeah, if you see anyone under attendees that should be part of the meeting, let me know.
Yes, Mr. Samaragic, please.
Yep,
and you got John Hannafin.
I'm moving him over now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Kristen Rowe. They're all muted.
Well, they can unmute themselves.
I know.
Are you ready for them, Pete, to present?
Yes, let's have
Okay.
them present now.
All right.
All right, welcome Shellfish Commission members. This is John Hannafin with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. And we're going to give a brief update tonight regarding a few items. I just wanted to welcome all you guys. We've been communicating and for the last, I think, over like 3 years on this project. And we're going to continue to have discussions. And since we last met, which I think was last fall, we have done a couple things. We've held a vessel test, which I think some of your members were at. We've performed a risk safety study of the vessels in the river for the Sheffield Island Ferry and the aquarium vessel, and that should have been shared with the members of the commission. And we've done some homework where we've studied those reports and the analysis of those items, and the department's made a decision to move forward with the vessel relocation options that we were presented, I think, also last fall at a meeting. And the department has decided to construct both the northerly location and the southerly location after having extensive reviews of the risk safety study and the vessel test. And reaching out to some of the operators of the vessels. And tonight we're going to present that information to the commission. That decision took a long time for the department to make, after careful consideration of a number of factors. We looked at the safety of the operators and the safety of the other vessels operating in the river. We also looked at the project and the project's vessels that would be operating in the river and all the other river stakeholders. And after looking at all those factors, it was decided that we would build both. And that would also give the program and the operators of the vessels the most flexibility, operational flexibility, in order to service the area and address safety concerns and reduce risk. So that being said, I have Tony Cirillo, who's going to walk through some of the drawings explaining these northerly and southerly options. And then we'll walk through, if there's any questions after that, we can go on.
Thank you, John, and I trust you all can hear me. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And I said attempt.
Yeah, Yeah, just click share screen and then
Yeah.
select the,
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I'm just, give me 1 second here.
what I typically do is open up what I want to share first, then I go to share screen.
I've got them up. We've got 2 drawings and only one of them's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Just give me a second here. Sorry. For the life of me, well, it's only giving me one option here. Darn it. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. All righty. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulty tonight. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So this is called site number 1, and you're familiar with the site. You can see the outline of the IMAX theater here. And this is the location on North Water Street where the 2 vessels, the Spirit of the Sound, the aquarium research vessel, which is here, and the CJ Toth, the Sheffield Island Lighthouse Ferry, which is here. This is the site where those 2 vessels are docked today. And the plan you're looking at is probably similar to what you saw in the fall, but improved. What we're proposing to do here is install a single dock. This dock is 213 feet long, and this dock generally is aligned with the 2 existing docks that are there today. What this single length continuous dock does, as opposed to the 2 individual docks that were separated by some 25 feet, it allows both vessels to dock at this location. However, the vessels are able to slide downstream, if you will, away from where the contractor's work platform and its barges will be stationed in this area. And so by constructing this single 213-foot long dock, it gives us a lot of flexibility during construction to slide these boats down to the south. With that, the dock will still be accessible from the octagon platform here with the 35-foot gangway. It'll still be accessible from a 35-foot gangway where the ferry loads today. If you recall, there's a gazebo here and then a sort of a little bridge here that takes you on. And what you're seeing here is yet a 3rd gangway to meet the accessibility code. That gangway is 80 feet long, and that's for folks with handicap or similar issues. And in order to accomplish this installation, and this will be a concrete pontoon style floating dock, it'll be on steel piles, very much like the dock that's there today. In order to install this dock where it is, there will be some minor dredging at the southerly tip of the dock, and then some minor dredging at the upper corner of the dock. And that dredging is on average up to about 2 feet deep. So not a substantial dredging, but just enough to get this dock in there so that it'll float up and down correctly the way it's supposed to as the tide comes and goes. And then you see these bold lines here. We're going to run some water and electric services out to the dock. One of the beauties of this this final version or layout here is that this 213-foot dock would be temporary during construction, but then it would become permanent and it would be the new home for the vessels following construction. So we're not going to go back and replace those 2 individual docks in the locations that they were. This will remain permanent, and then of course this larger vessel could slide back upstream as it will. That in a nutshell describes the site number 1 location. If there's nothing else to add on that, John, I think we'll just go right to site number 2, and then if there's any questions, I think we'll take them together. And with this installation here, there's really no modifications really whatsoever to the parking lot or any of the sort of landside amenities. I trust you can see the second location now.
Yes.
Now that my technology is working. So this is the second downstream location that John mentioned. This is at 90 Water Street. And if you look down here, this is Elizabeth Street. So we're about 800 feet to the south, 800 feet downstream. This is the Washington Street Bridge. And there's a fence line here. And this fence line is the property where the Sono Seafood is. Okay, and if you're familiar with the properties, I know you are, the Harbor Masters building is right down in here. And so the proposal is to construct a very similar dock, a concrete pontoon floating style dock, 165 feet long, for both vessels to tie up. And in order to access that from land, there would be a paved driveway that would really run right along this chain link fence here. There'd be a paved turnaround and a handful of parking spaces, about 13 parking spaces. I'll come back to that in a moment. The floating dock would be out here, and both vessels moor right inside the navigable channel. And there are 2 gangways to access this dock, including the 80-footer for accessibility code. There is some minor dredging required right here at the upstream end of that dock. Again, in the range of about 2 feet, just to get that corner in the way we need it. And in conjunction with that, there would be some landside amenities. You have shelter at the existing location. You have the IMAX theater. You have a gazebo. Down here, it's sort of wide open. So we'd put up like a canopy structure here about 30 feet long, some benches, and a little guard shack where the ferry could sell tickets. This will be the public access. However, this is not necessarily the public parking. There are parking here for the captain and crew and for handicapped visitors. As school buses may come and go, we've got a few spaces here for a school bus to pull in and stay. These parcels over here, the department will use in part or in full for construction laydown. And so we have a Jersey barrier, a concrete barrier all along between the properties with a fence to keep those activities separate. And then similar to the other site, we would bring a water main down from Water Street, service water to the dock, and we would pull electric from this pole line here and come underground to service the dock. And then because these 2 docks are separated by a walking distance of some 750 or 800 feet, there would be some signage between the 2 locations for patrons to find their way.
Can you
So
zoom in?
go ahead.
Oh, can you zoom in a little bit?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, really, that summarizes the proposed dock layout and the landside amenity. Without going into much more detail on that, if you have specific questions, I'll be happy to try to address those.
I see Mr. Brown, you have your hand up. Would you like to unmute?
Sorry, I had that up earlier. I didn't mean to raise it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I see someone from the Connecticut DEEP under attendees. Is that someone that's just following along, or should they be part of this meeting? Michael,
Yeah, Mr. Guzwinski, you could bring him live into the meeting.
I can bring him. Okay, thank you.
Tony, just a quick question. Is this the same that was seen last week or 2 weeks ago at the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission? There's been no change to Site 1 nor Site 2?
That's correct. I think we met on the 27th.
Thank you.
This is 98 Water Street.
I believe this is 90 Water Street. And again, for bearing, we're right opposite Elizabeth Street here.
Okay, so it's,
There's a little rectangular building here. And
yeah, it's right next to Sono Seafood.
Sono Seafood is over here. Yep.
Okay,
And there's an existing curb cut in here. There's a wide 30-foot curb in and out here.
okay. Not to sound selfish, I'm just making sure because I want to make sure that the police boats are not impeded from docking and leaving.
Yeah, you know what? They're not shown on this graphic, but those boats are here and right about in here, the smaller one. And we did our vessel test. We were mindful of that. We invited a test of that vessel to come and go, and we weren't able to do it on that particular day, but we're confident that as the boats approach and as they depart, that there should be no conflict there.
Okay,
I got one question on this north one. What is the buffer zone for safety between the work area and these boats? I mean, you're like 25 feet away from where that on the north side,
North one, Tony.
where you have that octagon platform. Your area is like, I wouldn't even say it's 50 feet away where your platform is. Your platform is,
I'm going to take a quick measurement here. You're right. It's the distance is about, so the work platform is generally consistent with the top of the octagon here.
right.
And you got about 50 feet to the transom on that vessel.
I'm asking, what is the safety distance by OSHA requirements for you to have vessels near something like that? These are commercial vessels carrying passengers.
Mhm.
What's the,
I'm not sure. We did our safety analysis risk study. I'm not sure if.
I know you got your safety analysis and risk study. Did you check with OSHA what the requirements are for safety between the cranes and commercial vessels carrying passengers?
We actually have our safety guy that did the safety report. We can ask him maybe, Devin Santa. I think he's part of the meeting.
Okay. I'm just curious.
No, I don't,
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that question, so I was gonna see if he could answer it for us.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I'm not aware of an OSHA requirement. I believe Coast Guard would opine on that safety distance through the Coast Guard permitting process.
Well, I've been in the building trades all the time, and every work site has a safety area that is a buffer zone, basically. On every job I've been on, where it's commercial equipment is around. And usually OSHA steps in on the requirements for safety.
Okay.
That's, I'm sorry, but I've been in the construction trade and I worked for Eversource for 20 years when it was CLMP, so. Just wondering, I don't want to see something happen in the middle of this. And everybody goes, oh, I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see anything bad happen through the course of this. And we can research what OSHA may say on that, but again, I'm not aware.
And Peter, one more point. I think, but I'm not 100% sure, there has to be a distance between the navigational channel and where boats are moored. And it looks okay here at this end, but if you go to the southern end, we may not be. It may be too tight. I think this is the navigational channel.
I would respond that we, and John or Chris, you could help me with this. We shared these plans with a number of the stakeholders on a call where, if I'm not mistaken, John, the Coast Guard and the Corps were present, and the Deep as well, if I recall. And actually, we had this dock further out And it was requested that we bring it back so
Yeah.
that the vessels would be inside the navigable channel when we've done that. And that appeared to be acceptable to them. And so
Okay.
they will, as Devin
Right.
suggested, opine on this the way it's shown.
Yeah, that is my understanding, Tony, after meeting with the Coast Guard and the Corps.
From a practical standpoint, would it be possible to describe the relative utility of the two sites?
If it does vehicles.
When and why would they be used at various times?
They got cranes in the air.
Yeah, Steve, this is John again. How you doing?
Thanks, John.
So we
800
recognize that needs to be figured out. Right now, like I said earlier, this gives
It doesn't bother me. They gotta find it.
the program and the operators of the vessels and the other river users the most amount of flexibility. Based on our schedule and our work activities, as we move forward, we are going to look at those operations and determine, which times we would need to have the vessels at the southern location versus which times would they be appropriately moored in the northern location. Now, obviously, we're not going to move them back and forth on a daily basis, but based on that schedule of work activities and the amount of movement in the river with the other operating vessels, we can determine the best times to be moored either in the southerly location or the northerly location. And like I said earlier, that gives us the most flexibility from an operational and safety standpoint, so that when there is extra congestion or a lot of activity up to the north, the vessels could be working down to the south. And then when there's times, either in the beginning or the end or wherever in the job where we have lulls in activity, because it's not always the same constant amount of operational needs in the river, all constant. That would give us time. So we don't have the answer is we don't have it figured out at the moment. But as we move a little bit closer to construction, we'll be figuring out those timeframes.
Thanks, John. So you're saying that there will be times when the northern structure will be used for ordinary passenger use, and that it would not just be for vessel storage.
Correct. Yeah, this gives us the flexibility to have either both north, both south, or we could have a split operation where we have one south, one north, if that made sense from a safety operational standpoint. And like I said, that gives you, working with the vessel operators and the contractor and the other river users, us the most flexibility. So times when, it may be perfectly okay to be on the northerly location, you could do that. And if you have to be south because of operations, you can do that versus just building one or the other. I mean, that's why the department decided to build both.
And how will those decisions be made?
So right now, we're going to look at the schedule of the contractors of the operations and work with the operators. I mean, I think that's the plan moving forward. I mean, I don't know if anyone else, Tony, I think that's what we talked about, trying to put that together in conjunction with Devin and looking at the, relative times of, even seasonal timeframes in the river when there's lighter traffic versus, summertime when there's heavier traffic, that could influence the timeframes. But I think it'll be a project team effort to make those decisions, is what I'm trying to say.
And would that project team include the Norwalk Police and the Harbor Master?
I would say yes. I mean, everything we do in the river, we want to coordinate with the harbor master and the police, the Norwalk Police Department.
Yeah, I guess my concern is that there may be ease of use or economic considerations that the aquarium may like to have dockage at the northern location when maybe the safety aspects of that wouldn't be the best idea.
So point taken. So that's why we would have, I would say a group effort. And then I think we would set some guidelines for, safety being one of the number one items, right? And it would outweigh economics. I think everyone, even if you ask the operators, I think when we asked that question previously, they said that, everyone said safety was number one. So, I would hope that's what would happen, not hope, but, insist.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
So John, can I have a second to answer the OSHA question?
Sure.
So this is Rich Bertoli. I did just check, and we'll do additional research. This isn't the final answer, but based on OSHA, OSHA defers to the Coast Guard. So when it comes to barge operations and vessel operations, it looks like they defer to the Coast Guard. So we'll look at the additional information and get back. But as a preliminary assessment, that's what the guidance reads.
Thanks, Rich. Any other questions you guys have tonight on this topic?
Hey, DOT, do you guys want to bring up any other issues while we're together? Any other aspects of the project?
I mean, the only other update that we had was Manresa. You know, we're moving forward with Manresa Island as our staging area. We won't be using that site you just saw. This other location site will be land storage or land construction laydown area. We won't be accessing anything from the river there, because the vessels will be located there. So.
Thanks. What's the current information that the department has from Eversource?
We are coordinating with Eversource. Right now, they're working on their plan. We've given them our need dates for when they need to be, off the poles based on our schedule. And I haven't heard anything lately on, I don't want to speak for Eversource on their plan. I know they're working on, putting their final plans together and permitting. But like I said, we coordinate with them on their activities and give them our dates that, when we expect them to be out of the way.
Thanks, John.
Any other questions?
Well, thanks, John. Thanks for coming. We realize it's a late hour. This isn't the Shellfish Commission's #1 priority for the project, but thank you for sharing it with us.
Okay, no problem. And anytime you guys need any additional information, you know where to reach us.
Will do. Thank you all for coming.
All right, thank you.
Having us.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else from public comment? If not, then let's get an approval of the minutes. You gotta unmute yourself, guys. We're gonna approve the minutes.
Yeah. A motion to approve them as presented.
Second motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Tommy Matera's not here tonight?
I don't see him on the call.
He mustn't be working. He must be working.
You
Okay.
don't see Commissioner Modaffari either.
Joe Modafferi called me. He says if we got to vote on something, for me to call him direct, because he's on a meeting with FCAC. I guess he's on the board of the FCAC or something.
Okay.
So he said for me to call him if there's anything.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so we don't have a treasurer's report.
Pete, I did get one. I can add in on that.
Okay, that's good.
Beginning balance as of January 1st was $23,316.44. Revenue deposit for the month was Fisherman's World, $2,805. Brings the balance to today to $26,073.49.
Good. All right. Secretary's report. Steve?
So we don't have anything more to add to DOT tonight. I did forward two applications where the agent is Mr. Hilt, and since I sent the second one, he has sent a third. So we'll be quite busy into March and April. I'll take a look at the tides, and we'll work with our kind constables to get members of the Shellfish and Harbor Management Commission to look at these three sites.
This is the most definite. I was thinking about something. I think from now on, I think we should take pictures. And when we send our comments up, send the pictures.
Yeah, no, I've been including a lot of pictures, but
Okay.
I would agree more is better than less.
Yes, especially when you're looking at some of these new ones coming.
Correct.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Oh, okay. So about committee reports, Health Department.
Sure. For January, we had 1.77 inches of rain fell. It compares over the years for January. The average has been 3.22. Closure report, there was a closure on January 16th for 1.12 inches that closed both the half-inch and the 1-inch beds. And there were no reports of a bypass for January.
Okay. Wastewater treatment, we don't have anybody show up for that. Water quality. Joe?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. We just had a previous meeting and we had guests of members from Save the Sound and University of Connecticut. And they were here to explain basically what happened with the upgrade that we received on the report on the harbor last year in the 2020 Save the Sound report. They gave a fairly elaborate explanation. And if anybody would like some information on how the grading took place, I can send you the link. I'd be happy to do that. But I think Pete has it as well as Steve, if you can get it from them. It does a fairly good explanation, but they also saw our point of view in that there could be better ways that they could communicate what they were getting. And they agreed, and hopefully it will keep the door open for communication so that we don't get blindsided in the future. That's about it. That's in a nutshell. Peter, you're muted. Peter, you're muted.
I kind of like them this way. Sorry.
It's okay. He'll catch on. Steve, can you text him?
No, it looks like he's searching to figure it out. Pete, wave if you're trying to unmute yourself. Yeah, see?
Bottom
great-
left-hand corner of the screen.
God, it's a great look. Wait, I gotta text him.
All right, do you want to move on while Pete's trying to figure that out?
I got it. My screen went blank. And I'm over in the corner and nothing's happening. Why laughing? It's not funny.
It is. God, just like Karen do the
We
meetings.
can't do permits.
Right.
Just like Karen and me.
We can't do permits because we don't have, police. Let Laffy say something.
All right, it's very brief. Pete and I had a guy out on the sandbar by the flotilla, and he was clamming. He was unaware that that was not a an okay place to be, but he did have a permit, so we instructed him on where to go. Other than that, it's been probably, other than Joe Metaferry, which we haven't seen, the only one who really clams in this cold weather is Joe. But that's as far as we got.
Okay. Joe found a better way to get clams anyways. I won't mention. Okay,
I don't
anybody know the water temperature?
Fucking cold.
My wife says it's cold. I think it was, I was talking to someone, 36? Okay, you don't have it, Mike?
I thought it was 38 the last time we checked.
All right,
I thought it was 38. The dive team was actually out yesterday, and they weren't happy, so I'm pretty sure it was 38.
yeah. Okay, all right, harbor management. Jeff, you gonna talk for them?
No, I don't have much to say. We're,
Okay. All right. Okay, make a motion to accept the committee reports. Someone?
Make a motion.
2 seconds. Nick? Nick, you're muted.
There you go. Second.
Okay. All right, on favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, old business. Any old business? Nothing going on, okay.
Pete,
Nope. Yes,
just as a follow-up to a question that Steve asked of the DOT, whether they have heard anything regarding the Eversource status. But Mr. Hannafin said that they had told Eversource the date when Eversource needs to have either started this project or has completed the project. We should probably follow up and see what that date is.
you notice he didn't say the date.
He didn't say the date, but he did say that they gave Eversource, I believe he said this, a date when they must be finished in order for their project to proceed.
Yeah, he said the date to get off the poles.
The date to get off the poles, okay, not the cable under the harbor.
Right, he said off the poles.
But to get off the poles, they gotta have the cables in the harbor, or else they're gonna open up 4 lines.
That's right. They can't get this, they can't get the yes. And I spoke with a project manager at the Corps of Engineers today, and she said she still has not heard anything from Eversource.
I'm telling you, you're gonna do this emergency thing, has to get done. They'll push it through like it's nothing.
Well, they need multiple approvals and they need approval from the Connecticut Siting Council first before they can go ahead with their applications for permits from DEEP and the Corps of Engineers. It's, well, I guess all we can do is the best we can and keep trying to find information and be prepared.
Right, maybe Zerwinski or whatever his name is has something.
Well, when I last talked with him, which was maybe last week or so, well, which is not that long ago, he said the same thing. He's asked Eversource if they have any, can give him an idea of when they would submit a permit application, but he's He said that they haven't given him a date yet. There's only that they're still working on their plans.
Hmm.
And that's interesting. That's also of interest because their cable, the way it's proposed now, would go right through 90 and 68 Water Street.
I know.
Proposing to build the docks for and now I know I am talking a lot, but at the Harbor Commission meeting, DOT also said that they are no longer proposing to build the bulkheads along those two properties, 68 Water Street and 90 Water Street.
Right.
So that would be a significant cost savings, at least from.
You know, maybe we should send a letter to Eversource saying, we'd like to find what you're doing now, since we know you have a date to be off the lines. We don't have to say what date, we just know that they're getting a date.
Mhm.
So they know that we know something.
Well, there was a letter sent to them, the formal letter, I believe, Pete, you may have been in on it, on the signature as well.
Yeah.
Asking a representative of Eversource to come to a Harbor Commission meeting. This was last year, and they declined.
Right. Well, now we know they got a date. We can send them a letter stating, you know, I mean, Harbor Management and Shellfish, that we know you have a date now. What is your position and where is your cables? Where are you applying for your cables to go?
Yeah.
Is there a different drawing? Because they're going to try and push that through now with the same way. We have to have something. If they get through it, we have to have something to cover us anyways, some way or another. Because once they get those cables through there, that is their docks, you might as well say. Because you aren't going to do anything without their permission. You know what I mean?
Well, hopefully through the Siting Council and through the DEP, there will be plenty of opportunity to not just comment, but negotiate with Eversource for a proper agreement. If there's no alternative to this route, but.
Right. Well, there's no problem for them to go north of the Straffolino Bridge. I mean, everything else goes through there. Why can't they? You got water, telephone. I guess we got the communication cables for the railroad. I mean, that part can't be touched.
3 weeks ago, we already put 7 cables underground.
Right.
Going across. So there's already underground cable, which is going to replace what's above the tracks, already underground.
Yeah,
that was
communication and stuff.
Yeah, that was the part of the project that we had to be out there for, floating the cable where they could sink it. So there's already some underground work that is completed.
Right, but they'd have no problem going that way. Their biggest problem's going to be is, and there's already ductwork going down Water Street anyways. You got ductwork, so just building another duct alongside what's there, what's the difference? It's there already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're only talking a few hundred feet. Not even a football field, if you look at it.
Yeah.
From the parking lot to what's it, Elizabeth Street?
Yeah.
You know. So. Oh, well. We'll have to talk about it more. Maybe we talk to Harbor Management at their meeting about doing something. Any other new business? If not, next meeting will be March 4th. Make a motion to end the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay. See you March 4th, guys. At least our meeting's a lot shorter than that other one was. Oh,
Take care,
Jeff,
everybody.
we learned something, but that should have been a special meeting.